Up, everybody, including that old girl Lottie Dottie. You already know what it is, man. We always like to speak to Lottie Dottie and show Lottie Dottie some love. But currently, we're out here and fooling around with this old bike. Today is not a get it fixed day at all. Today is just a touch it day, fool around with it day, and see what's what. Um, so I want to just see if I can knock some of the grime off of it. And sitting here thinking about a few things. Now, the plan, ladies and gentlemen, is for this old girl to hit an interstate near you. How soon? I don't know. That all depends on, you know, how quick we can get it running, and not just running, but running to where it's safe. Look at this, guys. This is the brake reservoir. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty bad. I would think. Ain't no thinking. I know that's bad. So, dot three, and ain't no dot three been in there in a long time. But at any rate, we'll address all these things and get her up and running soon. And again, the plan is to take it on a cross country trip. Um, we'll have to determine what that's going to look like. I don't think this girl gonna see too much interstate, so it may be a back road run. And I do have a route that someone sent to me a while ago, and we were already talking about riding that route, but of course not on something like this. But this time, what we will do is I'm going to revisit that route, and chances are that'll be the route that we'll take because it avoids major interstates. And this little 400 will probably do much better on some back roads, side roads, secondary roads, or what have you. And so we're going to do it our way. And so I do have some ideas, and that may change over time in terms of how we actually execute um, that cross country trip on this old girl here. But so my question is, number one, if you're watching and you've been cross country, what did you ride across country, and why did you ride what you rode? For the most part, I think people choose what they ride across country for comfort reasons, so that they'll be comfortable and have everything that they need, can carry their gear, luggage, et cetera, et cetera. And on something like this, it's going to be limited. Okay. So my question is, would you still do what you say you love to do, even without your creature comforts? If every touring bike owner or touring bike rider was forced to no longer have a touring bike, but something like this, would you still consider yourself a biker? Would you still ride the way you ride? Or are you only riding the way you ride right now because of the creature comforts? It's just a question, I think a legitimate one. And then there are those riders who ride the way they ride because of the acknowledgement that they get, the accolades, the pats on the back, the "ooh, wow, you rode how far?" And I'm not gonna lie, it always it's just something when you're traveling, especially if you're traveling a long distance, and someone says, "Well, where you coming from?" And you be like, "Oh, I'm coming from so such and such a place." They say, "You rode that far?" It's funny, not funny as in like a joke, but it's, I don't know, it's just it's interesting. And I really do enjoy their responses when they find out how far you traveled or how far you're traveling. Um, so I think all of us get something out of that to some degree. Okay, all of us so-called ground pounders and yonder getters and long distance riders, for the most part. But my question to you, and I think it's a legitimate question, if this was the only thing you could ride, would you still be the rider that you are right now? Now, this is not a Harley, it's a Kawasaki. So you don't have the rah-rah of the whole Harley Davidson culture. I know this one brother who he wouldn't ride a Harley. and it was his story. The reason why he didn't want to ride a Harley was because of the way it made him feel, in terms of the, the, I'm not going to say the popularity, but the feeling, it's and there is, so for that reason alone, Christian brother, he said Harley was not for him. So anyway, saying that to say, there are some people who do what they do. Let me see something here. They do what they do because of what people are going to say, you know. But take all that stuff away. If nobody, and I know I'm guilty of it. I go live almost every time I'm on my bike, but I have a reason for that. But if no one other than you knew about your ride, would you still ride? We live in a fun day now. So I'm gonna get this baby going, and she's gonna be the machine of choice for a cross-country trip, just because. She ain't pretty. I might put some kind of windshield on here. But then again, it ain't going fast enough to blow me nowhere anyway. This stuff is caped up on here. I don't think there's no saving this stuff right here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of steel wool to it and see if that will take it off. Let me see here. Yeah. So folks, I just want to hop on for a quick minute. Chrome is done. It's pitted. I don't know though. It's pitted pretty bad. We shall see. I'm not looking to make it a show bike. I just want to run. And as a matter of fact, chances are she ain't gonna get no prettier than what she is right now. I'm more than likely just gonna focus on the mechanics, make sure she's running good, and just work with the whole patina, if you will. Clean it up and make shine what can shine. I'll take these pipes off and put some steel wool to those, get a little shine out of them. I think they'll come back. That one came back pretty good. This one is not too pitted, just caped up with grime and dirt. So it'll clean up, I'm sure. This rack here, toast. Yeah, it's pitted through. So that chrome is gone, it's done. I thought about just turning this into a cafe racer, which eventually that's probably what it will end up. But first I got to do a big trip on it with that big seat and this ugly rack, so I can strap my bag down on it and do what I got to do. Like I said, I'll probably put some kind of a windshield on here. KZ 400. I do have a backup plan in the event that I am extremely unsuccessful in getting it to run. And there's a gentleman in Statesville who specializes in these older bikes. I was telling him about this bike, and he was like, oh yeah. He said, I was working for Kawasaki when the KZ 400s came out. Back in 1973, he said he started working for Kawasaki. So he was actually kind of excited about getting the chance to work on it, for me to bring it in so he can work on it. So that's the backup plan. I'm gonna do as much as I can. I'm nobody's super mechanic, but I am mechanically inclined enough to give it a shot, because right now it's already not running. And I know he's gonna probably have to pull these heads off and all that stuff. But I tell you what, there's a guy, and I need to get his YouTube channel. I can't recall his name, the name of his YouTube channel, but he had an old Tour Glide Harley Davidson 70s model, and he had been working on it. He got it running. He had to change out a few things on it, but I have been watching his video and following the progress on that thing, and it was definitely inspiring on many levels. You know, I have been wanting an old school motorcycle for a while. I've had all kind of old school cars. I had a 78 Mercedes 300D. I liked it, that little car, one I should have kept. 66 Lincoln Continental, 66 Buick Special, 78 Volkswagen Bus, 78 BMW 328 or 325, I think it was. I've had a lot of old school cars, but I've not had any old school motorcycles yet. And so this is my first one. I've been wanting one for a while now, and this is nothing super special. It doesn't hold any extreme amount of value. If I were to resell it right now, I wouldn't get much out of it. But it just is what it is. So I'm gonna fool around with this thing here. It's gonna be fun getting it together, getting it running. And so if you're watching and you know someone with an old school bike, tag them, send them this video, send them my information. I'd love to collab with them possibly. Maybe we can cover some back roads together or whatever. And or maybe they can even share some insight, input, tips, getting it running, keeping it running, kind of a thing. I'm gonna get out of here, guys, pull this thing back inside, and I need to get it up to the house and to the lab so I can really start digging in. When I picked it up, it was getting late, so I just parked it here at the church. And so I'll get it up to the house, into the lab, and we'll go ahead and start wrenching on it, pulling it down, and seeing what we got. What I probably do, well, we'll just see. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm out of here, man. And again, if you were stripped from your creature comforts, would you still do what it is that you do? We've got a lot of things, and we've, acquired a lot of things that make what we do easy and a lot more comfortable. And I'm convinced that a lot of us are only doing it because of those comforts. But if we were to strip those, would we still do it? It's your boy Retro, over and out.